Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast, episode 121. I'm your host, Perrysburg resident Kim Newlove. The Perrysburg Podcast is a resource for Perrysburg residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. Our website is perrysburgpodcast.com. Today, we are talking about Perrysburg's Battle of the Badges blood drive and the American Red Cross's constant need for blood. I'll start with the details about the upcoming Battle of the Badges blood drive, and then I'll share my conversation with Christy Peters from the American Red Cross Northern Ohio region. We talk about the importance of blood donation, tips for first-time donors, actually tips for any donor about nutrition and hydration, the benefits of using the Red Cross Blood Donor app, how to volunteer with the American Red Cross, and more. We cover a lot in our 30-minute conversation. Now, as we get started, I would like to say a big thank you to Angie Teetrick. Angie Teetrick is the communication officer for the City of Perrysburg Police Division. She told me all about this year's event and the history of the Battle of the Badges blood drive here in Perrysburg. This is the second annual Battle of the Badges blood drive. It will take place on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025, from 12 to 6 p.m. at the Schaller Memorial Building on West Indiana Avenue. I am German and Swiss by heritage, and I say Schaller, but some people say Schaller. So it is the Schaller or Schaller Memorial Building on West Indiana Avenue. It's the American Legion Post 28, if you know it by that term. The address and a link to donate can be found in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. What is a Battle of the Badges blood drive and why is it going on? The Battle of the Badges blood drive is a Red Cross blood drive with a theme. Donors can cast a vote for either the City of Perrysburg's Police Division or Fire Division at the blood drive registration desk. Guess who won last year's battle? It was a tie. And guess who's going to win this year's battle? Come on out and help decide. You get to cast a vote for either the police or fire division at the registration desk. So come on out and vote. Now, who can donate? Is it just the police and firefighters? No, anyone. You don't have to be a police officer or a firefighter to donate. The American Red Cross will take any eligible donor. Why does Perrysburg host a Battle of the Badges blood drive? Communications Officer Angie Teetrick from the City of Perrysburg Police Division told me that she was inspired to organize a Battle of the Badges blood drive after seeing one posted on Facebook in 2024. She knows that the need for blood is constant, and she saw the themed blood drive as a way to increase interest in and turnout for a blood drive. She also mentioned that the Tuesday after Veterans Day seemed like a good time to help the Red Cross because it's right before the holidays. Now for some stats. I love numbers, they're always just so interesting. According to Angie, 45 units of blood were collected at the first Battle of the Badges blood drive in 2024. 23 was the goal, and 45 units were collected. Totally shattered the goal, like almost double. Now, if you're wondering how the blood drive could be a tie if there were 45 units collected, I was wondering the same thing. Sometimes donors are deferred for various reasons. For example, low iron during the health screening. That's happened to me before as well. More than 50 appointments were filled last year, so in 2024, and there were a few walk-ins as well. But they got 45 units, and everybody who presented as a donor was able to vote. The battle was a tie. And now you know the rest of the story. Now, this year's goal is 34 units of blood. There are 51 appointments available for donors, and 28 of those appointments are already filled as of November 11th, 2025. Angie told me that walk-ins are welcome, but it's best to make an appointment so the Red Cross can staff the blood drive, bring enough supplies, and get everybody through the donation process within that 6-hour window of time. One last stat before I move on, and you may be wondering this as well. I was thinking, compared to a themed blood drive, how does another blood drive do? So Angie told me that during their summer 2025 blood drive, which was without the Battle of the Badges theme, they collected 29 units of blood. So 45 in November 2024 versus 29 in summer 2025 is a pretty big difference. So I would say that the theme does draw a larger number of donors. Either way, good job donating, Perrysburg. Now, when I asked Angie if she would recommend organizing a Battle of the Badges blood drive to another police and fire department somewhere else in the state of Ohio or somewhere around the country, she said yes. It's relatively easy to organize a blood drive, and she had the support and guidance of the Red Cross. Angie also mentioned that there will be a small gift for donors this month here in November 2025, a pair of socks featuring the American Red Cross logo and some Pac-Man characters, which I can't help giggling because I grew up in the 80s and Pac-Man was a big deal. So I am signed up for this blood drive and I'm going to get me some socks. Thanks again to Perrysburg Police Division's Angie Teetrick for all the background information about the Battle of the Badges blood drive. Again, the blood drive is on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 from 12 to 6 p.m. A link to make your donation appointment is in the show notes for episode 121 on perrysburgpodcast.com. And if you find this episode well after this Battle of the Badges blood drive, feel free to make an appointment or sign up for the 2026 Battle of the Badges if you find this in November of 2026. Next, let's hear from Christy Peters from the American Red Cross Northern Ohio region. We'll talk about the importance of blood donation, tips for first-time donors, and really for any donor, nutrition and hydration advice will be included in this conversation. We'll talk about the benefits of using the Red Cross Blood Donor app, how to volunteer with the American Red Cross, and more. Without further ado, here's my conversation with Christy Peters. Hi, Christy. Welcome to the Perrysburg podcast.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm so excited I could give something other than blood to the Red Cross. I'm giving you my time.
Thank you for giving the blood. It's so important, and we're so thankful for it.
Not a problem. I'm at 7 gallons and counting, and I will continue to donate until they tell me I cannot do it anymore.
That is absolutely amazing. It's just the number of people I run into, and you talk about working at the Red Cross who tell you their Red Cross story, and donors who are like, oh, I started donating when I was 17 and I've never stopped. And it really is, it's just amazing. It's one of the few things I feel like left in the world that really you can only get from other people. So we can't manufacture it or make it, but it's only when volunteers step up. And that really, I think that's unique and cool.
I'm one of those people that started at the age of 17. That story that you just told, that's my story as well.
It's true for a lot of people. And I think it's funny. People always tell me I started in high school, and I say probably because you wanted to get out of class or take a break from whatever you were doing. So you go sit at the blood drive for a couple hours.
I was in it for the cookies, I'll admit it.
Yes, of course. We're all in it for the cookies.
I'm in it for the Nutter Butters. Those are my favorite.
I am personally in it for the Oreos. I tell people I don't know what it is, but the Oreos at the blood drive taste better. They just taste better. They're different. They're more chocolatey. Maybe it's because I just donated. I don't know. I love the Oreos.
That is awesome. Love that. All right. Well, we have a blood drive coming up in Perrysburg. It is on November 18th, 2025 from 12 to 6 p.m. And it's called the Battle of the Badges Blood Drive. So we've got the police versus the firefighters. And I was just curious, did you think this up or who thought this up?
I can't take credit for this. Battle of the Badges blood drives are something that the American Red Cross has done for many, many years. But I'm pretty sure that it came probably from some wonderful creative blood drive sponsor who said, hey, I bet we could get more people if we turned it into a competition. And so we do a lot of different battle of the badges and battle events at the American Red Cross. We often see high schools who want to battle. It's amazing what you can come up with. I once did a blood drive a long time ago between two council representatives who said, which ward is going to win the battle of the badges. And so I'm thankful for people who are creative and who come up with these great ways to encourage more people to give blood, which really, when it's all said and done, we're helping save lives. And so we're just excited that we're going to be able to be out in the community doing this.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing, trying to get blood donors to come out and in increasing numbers. So, how did you get involved with the Red Cross? What is your position with them?
I am the Regional Communications Director for the American Red Cross of Northern Ohio, and we cover 31 counties across Northern Ohio. And if you imagine it, we pretty much split the state in half. So, Northern Ohio is pretty much all of Northern Ohio. Southern Ohio encompasses kind of Columbus and South. But our area does extend all the way into Tuscarawas County, Amish country, out to obviously Toledo and Perrysburg, and then also all the way to Youngstown on the east. So it's a wide swath. I've been with the American Red Cross. I can't believe I'm going to say this, coming up on 19 years in December. I have been incredibly fortunate to spend a significant portion of my career with the organization. And I started off talking just about this, talking about blood and how people could help by donating blood. And recently, about 5 years ago, I was able to transition, and now I'm able to kind of do different things in all lines of service, where I also do interviews and share messaging about our disaster services and all of the different services that we provide. Many people who know the Red Cross either know them usually through I've donated for a very long time, as you mentioned, or I had a disaster, or I was involved in a disaster, or I saw the Red Cross when there was a large disaster. But we also do a lot of other things. We help service members and their families through our service to the armed forces line of service. We provide training services, which is teaching community members life saving skills like CPR and first aid. We have a lot of different areas that we're involved in. And so it's really great to be able to just educate and empower and tell the community how the Red Cross is there helping and how they can get involved.
19 years you've been with them, always as a communications director?
I started off as my title has changed, as I'm sure people who've been in companies for a long time. I feel like every couple of years they just shake it up and say, we're going to call you something different. But it's always been communications. It's always been telling the Red Cross story. I was recently promoted to director back in March of this year. So this is a relatively new role. So it's been exciting. And again, just a different way of working and different people. But I'm really blessed to have a great team, and I was able to hire someone to kind of replace myself, which is always weird. But he's been an absolute joy to work with. He was a volunteer and a board member prior to joining the Red Cross. So it's really cool when we can see it kind of come full circle in that way.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes over the years. It seems like when I was in college, so this would have been between 1996 and 2001, they didn't say they had blood emergencies all the time. So, can you tell me a little bit about what we've got right now, blood emergency or not, and what kind of changes have you seen in the blood emergency status over the years from the 90s till now?
We are currently not facing any type of shortage or emergency. So that is wonderful news. Obviously, those are situations that we don't want to be in. We want to ensure that blood is available and on the shelves for an emergency that could happen at any time. So I think what's changed and what's been so important is obviously more education of the community and the idea that blood is a perishable product. Blood is not something that can be manufactured, and that there is a constant need. So I often meet people and I tell them, every 2 seconds, someone in the US needs blood. And people are just, what? That's not right. But, 1 in 10 individuals who go into a hospital will need a blood transfusion. And so there really is this constant need. And I think people have this idea that because the American Red Cross is this national organization, that we just have all this blood sitting there waiting to be used. But really, especially here in Northern Ohio, blood that comes in from donors, it takes about 3 days from the time that it's donated until it's sent to a hospital. It's coming in and going right back out. Obviously, as we've made medical advancements, lots of things have changed, but the need for blood, especially in surgeries or during emergencies, continues to be there. And that can only be met by volunteer donors. So I think that encouraging people, even if they can't be a every 56-day donor, which is how often you can give, if you could donate maybe once more than you normally do. So if you only donate once a year, you decide, okay, I'm going to donate twice a year. That makes a huge impact on the local blood supply. So I think educating people about the need, as well as in just encouraging people to encourage others. The best way, I mean, I tell the Red Cross story every single day, but really the most impactful way that I can get more people to give is people saying, "Hey, I donate. You should come with me," or "Let's go donate together. Let's make it something fun that we do. Let's find a way to give back and donate blood." Obviously, we always like to do things that everyone else is doing. We want to do things with our friends and our family. So I really encourage people, if you are someone who understands the need, or if you've been impacted by the need for blood, share that story so that others will join you and get involved.
Thank you for confirming that there is not, in fact, a blood emergency right now. That's good. And I love your tips for getting more donations, having a friend come. My dad has always been a blood donor, actually, until he got on some medication that was on the deferment list. And then he was no longer able to donate. And I have yet to get one of my kids involved in donating. So I think that's a good way to get somebody involved in donating. Doesn't even have to be a friend, it can be a family member. But any other tips for getting other people to donate blood when maybe it's their first time?
Like many things in our lives, if you've never given blood before, you've probably built it up in your head to be much scarier than it actually is. I always encourage first time donors, make sure that you prepare. I think preparation when it comes to blood donation is the biggest piece. Your actual donation, the part that I think everyone gets a little nervous about, is about 10 minutes at most. So it's really more important all the things that you do leading up to that donation that are going to make a difference. So that includes drinking lots of extra water in the days leading up. So not just the morning of, not just, the night before, a couple of days ahead of time, just add some extra water, an extra glass or two a day. Make sure that you eat a healthy meal. If you're donating in the morning, make sure that you have breakfast. If you're donating in the afternoon, make sure that you have lunch. Try to avoid caffeine. Make sure that you're eating something healthy. A lot of people, as we talked about, started donating in high school, and they said, "Well, I saw so and so, my friend, and they passed out." And I said, "Remember back in high school when we could all live off, a Diet Coke and a bag of chips? We don't want to do that anymore when we donate blood." So a lot of times, people come in and they say, "Oh, I didn't have time for breakfast." And our staff, who understand this even better than me and will be wonderful advocates for you as you donate, will say, "Please go sit and have some snacks before you donate." Really, really important to do that. Really important to relax and talk to the person who's taking your blood. The American Red Cross staff are absolutely wonderful. They do this every day. They've been doing it for a long time, and they understand that people are nervous. They want to make it as easy as possible for you. So just say, "Hey, I'm a little nervous. It's my first time." They're going to walk you through all the steps. They're going to let you know what they're doing. And every single time I donate, the person always says to me, "I'm going to do the needle part now. If you don't want to see that, now's the time to look away." And I always do, because I am not someone that wants to see that. But I do think just remembering and also focusing on the difference that you're making. When you think about the fact that your blood donation has the potential to help more than one person in your community, and that it is only because you chose to come that day and give that someone in a hospital might receive that care that they need. It really is, a simple hour of your time making a life saving difference. And I do meet a lot of people, unfortunately, who maybe have donated for a long time and can't anymore. And as hard as that can be for donors who've given and feel disappointed, there's so many other ways to engage with the mission, whether that's volunteering at a blood drive. We always need more volunteers. We have people who welcome donors. We have people who check on donors when they're done giving. Those roles are incredibly important. That can be the difference between someone coming back and giving again if they have a good donation experience. So I think preparation, huge. Also, when you're done donating, not the day to train for the marathon. It's a perfect day to go home and just lay on the couch and binge your favorite TV show, relax, keep drinking that water. All of those things will make a difference in how you feel and just help that experience to go better for you.
Thank you for all those pre donation tips and post donation tips as well. Binging a favorite TV show certainly sounds good.
Especially this time of year when it's cold and dark, go donate and then go home and watch a movie and just enjoy your evening.
Good plan. Good plan. Going back to getting people to donate for the first time, I know that the younger generation is on their devices all the time. So, do you happen to have anything that would help them to understand the process on a device or an app or, social media?
So the American Red Cross is on social media. We as the Northern Ohio region have an account on every outlet I think that's out there right now, except for TikTok, because TikTok is handled by the National American Red Cross, which is fine because no one wants to see me trying to be funny or interesting or dancing on TikTok. So I'm fine with that. But we do have a free Red Cross blood donor app. And, we've talked a little bit about longevity and what have I seen change. And I think the American Red Cross really putting time and effort into making the donation process as simple as possible. We're all busy. We understand that donors who take an hour out of their day, that's a big chunk of time, and it's an effort. It's effort to go and do it and to, make time on the schedule. And so trying to make it as simple as possible for donors. The app is free and you can download it anywhere you get your phone apps. What's great about it is that you can actually upload your donor card. So that can be your identification when you come to give. It will have your blood type. If you have never given before, that will come once you donate. Or if you have given, it's there automatically. You can schedule appointments. Not only can you schedule appointments, but you can be very specific about how. So if I donated last time in the morning at a certain location, when it's time for me to donate again, I get a nice reminder that says, hey, you're almost due. Last time you gave at this location, do you want to give there again? Here's a few other options. It's very intuitive in that way. It's also great because it reminds me when 56 days ago was, because I have struggles remembering, 2 hours ago, much less 2 months ago. And so it's a great way to just keep that top of mind so that you remember when you can donate. And I think what I hear from so many donors and their favorite part is what we call the blood journey, meaning once you give, you can actually follow your blood donation journey in real time. So you'll see it leave, you'll see it get tested, you'll see it sit in storage until it's ready to be delivered. And then you'll get a message when your blood is actually sent to a hospital, and it will say, thank you so much. Your blood is now being sent to such and such a hospital to help a patient. And I really feel like talking about that in real time and people seeing that tangible message saying you did something a couple of weeks ago that is now going into a hospital and helping a patient really brings the whole thing full circle and makes it feel very impactful. You're seeing the difference that you're making. And I think that if we're going to be on our phones all the time, which we all are, getting a message like that really just reiterates. I know that it makes me feel like, oh, well, I need to schedule again. Like, look what the difference I made. I need to pay attention and make sure that I sign up again. So the app is really great. We also have something called Rapid Pass, which allows you to answer all of those questions that everybody asks. Why do you ask so many questions? Well, now you can do those questions the day of your donation, either through the app or just online. And again, save yourself some time when you come in to donate. I believe all of these things, making it more convenient, again, is just one of the many ways that we're trying to encourage more people to give on a more regular basis.
I use the app. I love the app. I quit using the plastic card because the app's so useful. Yeah.
I know there's people out there that are really like, I feel like kind of like the old Blockbuster card. You're really tied to that plastic card. And hey, we can still use it. But for a lot of us, I mean, I don't know that I carry much around anymore. If I don't, I can get away with pretty much just my phone in most cases. I can pay for things and I can do everything. So yes, I agree. I think it's just a nice, easy thing to do.
Speaking of phones, I get an awful lot of phone calls from the American Red Cross. I am mature enough to schedule my own appointments, Christy. How can I make the phone calls stop and just let the American Red Cross trust me on scheduling my own appointments?
Well, I guess I should first say I apologize. We don't mean to, become your favorite stalker phone person. That's not our intent at all. You can always change your contact preferences on our website, which is redcross.org. You can always just reach out to your local Red Cross as well. So just give us a call our 1-800 Red Cross number and just mention, hey, I'd like to have my phone number taken off the list. If you are on the app, I do think that's really helpful because then you're already kind of scheduling on your own and you know what's going on. But yes, we can take you off those lists. And, again, if we had more people giving on a regular basis, our phone calls would probably be a lot less. Unfortunately, we really, sometimes, especially this time of the year, as we get into the holidays, we definitely see a decline in the number of people coming to give, which means, unfortunately, too, with wonderful donors like yourself who are dedicated and we know are giving on a regular basis, we're really kind of going to that same group over and over again and asking them, please don't forget to give, please keep coming to give. So you can always change those preferences. We understand that, yes, you're an adult and you can schedule an appointment. So please just let us know and we can take care of that for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was very useful advice. I will be calling to get my name off the
Calling,
list.
yes.
I
And if for
swear I'm
some,
going to
yeah,
donate more, I promise.
yeah, just that's all. We just make you promise that you'll donate until you can't, and then we'll take you off the list. I'm
Okay,
just
cross
kidding.
my
We
heart.
don't. Yeah,
Hope to
exactly.
die. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
good. All right. Well, you talked a little bit about the need is constant, right? So as we're going into the holidays, is there any special additional need or is it just always the constant need?
The struggle over the holidays for all of us is that we all get busy. And I feel like it starts so much earlier every year. I feel like now I hit Halloween and I'm already thinking about Christmas is right around the corner and people are going to be needing things. And so what we see often is just a decline in the number of people coming to give. So everyone gets busy. They travel for the holidays. Maybe they go visit family. And unfortunately, they just aren't donating in their regular schedule. We also struggle, here, especially in Northern Ohio, with weather. So if weather tends to get bad or we see storms come through and blood drives get canceled, that can impact our ability to meet patient needs. People often forget about 20% of the blood collected by the American Red Cross comes from high school and college students. So if there's a really bad winter storm and schools get canceled, that also means the blood drive gets canceled. And it can be sometimes difficult. Schools are very busy to get those drives back on the schedule. And so winter months present that challenge when it comes to continuing to host blood drives and keeping blood drives on the books when weather gets bad. So I just think it's a reminder to everyone that, especially over the holidays, when you're spending time with family or when you're taking a few days off of work to enjoy the holidays, it's a great time to make a blood donation appointment. It's a wonderful time to give back. It doesn't cost anything, like I said, but your time. So it really is a great way during the holiday season just to help out. But really, we continue to see that need, especially as schedules get busy and weather starts to impact us. We just remind people now, before we get to that, please consider making an appointment now and in the coming weeks.
This blood drive, the Battle of the Badges blood drive here in Perrysburg, is again going to be on November 18th, 2025. And you can go to your Red Cross blood app, right? What is that called? The Red Cross app?
Yes, I think it's the Red Cross Blood app officially, but really, if you just
Okay.
go to, the Google Store or to Apple Store and type in Red Cross, not only will you see the blood app, but we actually have a whole suite of apps for a variety of different things, including a first aid app, which is wonderful. If it's great to have for on your phone for emergencies that might happen, or I just got stung by a bee, what should I do? That type of emergency. And then we also have a emergency app around weather. So if you, especially here in Ohio, tornado safety, flood safety, tips on what to do, all of that is free in addition to the Red Cross Blood app. So really cool. Lots of different resources that you can just put on your phone. Hopefully you never need them, but always good to have if you do.
Okay, great. So my fellow Perrysburg residents could schedule on the Red Cross Blood app. They could schedule by calling
1-800 Red Cross. You can schedule your appointment that way. You can also visit our website, which is redcrossblood.org. And for this particular drive, the fastest way would be to type in the zip code for Perrysburg. That'll bring it right up. And then you can actually make your appointment online as well. And then, of course, through the Red Cross Blood app, you can do that, make an appointment too.
Okay, very good. And you do recommend people making appointments, right? And can you explain to my audience why that is?
Well, again, as we talked about, it's important that we want everyone to feel like, we value your time and we know you're busy. So making an appointment helps us prepare so that we know how many people to expect, and we have enough staff there, and that we get everything, the schedule is set, so we know, hey, we might have a busier time, let's add some people here, take some people away. But also, it helps you get through the process a little bit quicker, because you do have an appointment. We always will also take walk-ins, meaning, hey, I'm just driving by and I saw the sign out front, I want to donate. We absolutely want you, just know that you might have to wait a little bit longer if there are appointments in front of you, but we will do our absolute best to get everyone through the process as quickly as we can. But yes, appointments help you to plan your day and help us to plan adequately for everyone that comes.
And so you bring enough Oreos and Nutter Butters, right?
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, if you don't tell us you're coming, I can't stock up extra Nutter Butters for you and put them in a special pile and hide them from all the other blood donors. So
Sometimes I'll go to a table at the canteen and I'll look and I don't see the Nutter Butters. I don't sit at that table. I'll go, look around until I find the Nutter Butters.
Red Cross snacks are a hot topic. I mean, you don't want to. I remember many, many years ago, Lorna Doones. We used to have Lorna Doones, and then, like everything else, things changed, and so we had to, change some of our options. And some people didn't want cookies; they wanted like granola bars, and so we try to offer lots of options. But my goodness, the number of people who were upset about losing the Lorna Doone. I said, if I had the power to bring all the Lorna Doones back, I would, but they haven't given me that authority quite yet.
Oh my goodness. I do remember that. The yellow packages, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I
Yep.
think, and I'm hoping that, I feel like over the years, again, as I've done this and been in this position, the snacks have gotten progressively better and we have a lot more options. So I hope that we have made up for the fact that maybe we had to take away your favorite snack. And again, I apologize.
Oh, you're doing all right. I remember going to Toledo and there was the blood donation center there on Executive
Yes.
Parkway, and
Yes.
they had a soda fountain back when I used to go there. I don't know if they still do, but my kids would come with me and they used to love that part.
Where I work, I live in Cleveland and we have a headquarters in downtown Cleveland, and we have a donation center there, and they have a Keurig machine with all kinds of coffee and hot chocolate, which, I mean, again, when you're driving, to different sites every day and setting up a blood drive and tearing it down, you can't quite do a Keurig machine or a soda machine, but hey, those donation centers, they got some nice stuff. So maybe mix it up, like donate out at the library and then go in and get a special treat at the donation center for your next appointment.
Yeah, well, I guess my point is that that's always an option. So if there's not a blood drive that works for you, they're open, what, 9 to 6 or something, Monday through Friday?
The donation centers are fantastic for that exact reason. We know sometimes our daily mobile sites are a little bit harder just because the hours aren't as convenient. So donation centers, we have the one in Toledo, we have one in Cleveland, we also have one in Akron, Ohio. Longer hours, a little bit more flexible, especially when it comes to evening hours for those of us who need to go after work and can't quite get to the library at 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning. So yes, that's one of the great benefits of the donation center. And I know a lot of people who, really love that because they just know every certain day I'm going to the donation center and that's my appointment time and that's when I go. So if that is more convenient for you versus, another location, that's an option.
Good to know. Yes. You can always go up to a blood donation center. And same deal, you can make an appointment to go there too, right?
Yes, you can. You can make an appointment online for the donation center as well as for our, what we call our mobile units. So those would be the ones most people think of at your local church or at the local library. All of that is available not only on redcrossblood.org, but on the app as well.
Good to know. I don't think I've ever tried to schedule an appointment at the Red Cross Donation Center on Executive Parkway in Toledo. So if I do need to do that, I'll try that through the app.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we have covered a lot, Christy. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about?
So I know we mentioned, the Battle of the Badges blood drive coming up. So of course, we just want to say a huge thank you to the fire and police groups for having us and for helping us promote this drive. We also have such wonderful blood drive sponsors who regularly open their doors and allow us to come in and set up. I mean, we can't necessarily have a donation center all over the place all the time. So people who are willing to open their doors and let us come in and set up a blood drive really make it possible for us to collect the life-saving blood that we need. So thank you to all of our blood drive sponsors. And of course, we understand that people are giving up their time and we want to always, offer them a little bit of a thank you. So there are going to be, I think there's some giveaways happening during the time frame of this blood drive. So when you come to give, we are giving away, which is kind of crazy for me because I don't think I'm old enough to have something be throwback, a pair of Pac-Man socks. Because I remember playing Pac-Man, not the original one, probably some random game consoles one, but we have a partnership coming up with Pac-Man. So from November 17th through December 7th, that will be the giveaway. And if you don't like Pac-Man, no worries. You can maybe sell the socks on eBay. No, don't do that. Don't sell the socks on eBay.
You can
Save
regift
them.
them.
Save them for your white elephant party or for your stocking stuffer, whatever is coming up in December. But again, we know that it takes time and effort to be at a blood drive, and we just want to find a way to say thank you. This is part of celebrating the 45th anniversary of Pac-Man, the game. I personally was a big Ms. Pac-Man fan. I feel like they're kind of the same, but I always played Ms. Pac-Man. So
Nice. Nice. There is a bar, you wouldn't probably know this, but there's a bar called Reset in our area. Do you guys have that out where you are?
we have something called 18-bit, which I think probably is the same idea, like old school pinball and yeah,
Video games and stuff.
video
I'll have to
games.
look for
Yes.
Pac-Man and see if it's there, and I'll think of you, and I'll wear my socks.
I think it was right around Halloween. The Google logo on the Google search page was a playable Pac-Man, and you could click it and then it would open up a game. And I'm just gonna say there had to have been some lost productivity from all of us like kids who remember that game trying to play it play it on the Google game. That was pretty cool. So I think we'll see a lot of Pac-Man as we celebrate this anniversary. So donate blood, and if you don't want to watch a movie, find an old school Pac-Man and play it.
That's good advice. Anything else as we wrap this up?
We just remind people that we understand not everyone can donate blood, and that's okay. There are so many ways that you can get involved with the mission of the American Red Cross. As I mentioned, we always need volunteers. 90% of our workforce are volunteers. They make a huge difference, and we could not do the work we do every single day without our volunteers. So, whether you want to welcome people at a blood drive or be in that refreshment area to make sure that everyone's having a good experience, we also have volunteers that will help us transport blood. They will actually pick it up at Red Cross buildings and take it to different hospitals and other locations. If you like to be in the car driving, you can drive and save lives. So lots of ways to get involved with the American Red Cross. Of course, as we get to the holiday season, many people ask, if I can't give blood or I don't want to necessarily go that route, financial donations are always wonderful. And people always think, well, I don't have a lot. I like to remind people that $5 buys a Red Cross blanket for someone who has experienced a disaster. So it doesn't take much to make a huge difference, especially for someone who may have just lost everything in a home fire or a flood or another type of disaster. So lots of ways to join the mission, and you can learn more about all of that at redcross.org.
Thanks, Christy. And about volunteering, is the information for volunteering on that website as well?
Yes, there is a tab on redcross.org for specifically for volunteering. All you have to do is put in your zip code and you can find opportunities. You can also always call the 1-800 Red Cross number and find out more information. They will get you connected to your local Red Cross, or just stop in if you happen to be nearby, and you can ask if you happen to be at a blood drive, how can I get involved? We will happily tell you all the ways you can help.
Good to know. I will put the link that you just shared in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. Christy, thank you so much for being with me here today on the Perrysburg podcast, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you. Same to you. Thank you so much for letting us spread the word. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thanks again to Christy Peters for being my guest today. I appreciate her reminders that the need for blood is constant and that blood is not something that can be manufactured. Donors like us are needed year round. So if you're eligible to donate, come on out to the second annual Battle of the Badges blood drive right here in Perrysburg on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025, from 12 to 6 p.m. at the Schaller Memorial Building on West Indiana Avenue in historic downtown Perrysburg. Make your appointment using the Red Cross's website, the blood donor app, or the phone number. All three are listed in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. Also, in the show notes today, you will find links to the City of Perrysburg Police Division's Facebook page and the Fire Division's Facebook page as well. And you can follow along to find out who wins this year's Battle of the Badges blood drive. Thanks again to Angie Teetrick at the City of Perrysburg Police Division for helping me out with background information about our local Battle of the Badges blood drive, and also for letting me use her very cool red and blue graphic in today's episode artwork. Thanks again, Angie. And that's all I have for you today. This has been episode 121 of the Perrysburg Podcast. The show notes again are on perrysburgpodcast.com. If you know someone who might like to donate at the Battle of the Badges blood drive or volunteer with the American Red Cross, please share this episode with them. And if you like this podcast, come on back. We've got a lot more coming up here in 2025. Subscribe to or follow this show on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Thanks so much for listening today, and I'll talk to you next week.